Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. West Ham United 1, Manchester United 0. Is the top four race back on? I mean, you can't say that it's not. It's definitely back on. Will United make top four? You know what? At the moment, it's not panic stations yet. But the next game against Wolves is crucial because if they lose that one, or don't win that one, forget lose. If they don't win that one, even a draw at this point, if they don't win that one, I think you have to say United are not going to make top four because I think right now away form is what it is. But that game against Wolves, because it's at home, they've got to win that one. And if they don't, they will be in lots and lots of trouble. But I mean, got to say that. I mean, this is at the top, doesn't it? Declan Rice and De Gea with the key protagonists for West Ham United in terms of win. I don't know what people talk about De Gea as howler, but I want to talk about Declan Rice because I thought he was phenomenal today. He was absolutely excellent. I think he's had a bit of a middling season at times. But you can see why he's so highly rated, and you can see why clubs have wanted him for so long. The problem for Declan Rice is that he's English and that he plays for a Premier League club like West Ham, and that's why his price tag is so high that most teams don't want to pay it. I mean, how do you pay 80, 90, 100 million pounds? West Ham are going to say that we want 100 million pounds for Declan Rice. Teams are not really going to be jumping up to pay that because there are other cheaper options that are probably on the same price tag that you can get. So for Declan Rice, that's the issue. The ability has not been the issue. It's always been the price tag. That means that United, it's very easy to look good against United, especially when they play like this. They're just not, United just not a very good team. They're just not a very good team. And let's be honest, beyond that first 11, when you start losing 1, 2, 3, 4 players, that team just isn't a very good team. And they've now lost quite a few players. Varane and Martinez pretty much held that team together defensively. They're gone. Casemiro has completely lost he's physically shot because he's played so much, and he's mentally shot after that second red card, and the referees have broken him basically. So congratulations to the Premier League refs for doing that. He's out. Martial has lost his pace. He looks so. I mean, again, I'll say this, not picking Martial today was the right decision. Picking Weghorst instead of him was the bad decision. But Martial shouldn't be starting games. He just looks so off the pace. He looks like so off it. He looks better in comparison to Weghorst, but that's such a low bar. He just doesn't look at it. And then you've got Eriksen's not been the same since his injury either. Bruno Fernandes on the left wing is just, I don't know what was going on. So there's a lot of things, and and my thoughts are all over the place at the moment because there's so many things that are wrong right now with this team, and it's the worst time to be picking out faults. But yeah, you got to do it. I thought Declan Rice was fantastic today. He looked absolutely brilliant, and well done to West Ham for the win. Absolutely deserved it. I thought Antonio looked good as well. Benrahma got that goal. Soucek was excellent as well, particularly in set pieces. And you got to say Kehrer did very well. That whole defensive backline actually looked very good. I can't remember too many clear-cut chances that United created, aside from towards the end when there was a bit of a mayhem there. But other than that, they never really created. And I thought that after the first 10-15 minutes, I said this is a game where United are going to lose. They're going to lose because they're going to let West Ham score a fluky kind of, dodgy goal that they're going to let in, and then they're not going to be able to score after that. I just felt the first 10-15 minutes, I'm not lying about this. The first 10-15 minutes, I just thought that's what's going to happen because that's what United were doing. They're taking pot shots from far away. They never, you can tell sometimes how the pace of the game goes, and it just looked like United were kind of like as decent. They made a decent start, but you just felt like there was a lack of conviction. They weren't the same United that they were. And then that's just been the story of the season, especially away from home. They just lack conviction at times. And when they go behind, it's almost goes to dark ages. Which brings me to the goal. Now, the goal, I mean, the only thing I will say in De Gea's defense is the fact that his left leg got stuck into the soil because he was tracking back very, very quickly. Again, and there is a thing there where he was tracking back quickly, his leg got stuck, and so he couldn't reach out, like he couldn't get enough power in his hand, and it slips in. It's a bad mistake. I'm just trying to say what happened. I'm not saying this was right or wrong. I'm saying that was a bad mistake. It should never happen. But this is the problem for David de Gea. Any other goalkeeper, see, David de Gea is not a sweeper keeper. He's not used to doing this whole front and back thing. He can't do it. And so every time when he goes forward, he then starts panicking when he's going backwards. And because he's not used to it, his foot got stuck because he's just not used to it. And I do believe he needs to be replaced. I feel he needs to be replaced. And I'll come to why he won't be replaced, but he needs to be replaced. And I don't know. This is not this issue with this game. I think we've seen it in the Sevilla game. We've seen it in other games. There's just an issue with David de Gea that is difficult to explain. He needs to go. He's just not good enough anymore for this team. He needs to go. The problem is, will he be sold? He probably won't be because, again, it comes back to the ownership. The ownership are not going to let him go. He's on too high wages, so nobody's going to buy him. for the price tag that United will probably demand, which they will need to get because they're not going to spend money on a goalkeeper. They're going to have to earn that money and then spend it on a goalkeeper. Is anyone going to pay 30-40 million for David de Gea? No, not for that wages. So that's the issue with David de Gea. That's the issue. They're not going to sell him because they just can't afford a replacement. The current owners or the prospective current owners are not going to be able to afford that. So anyway, so that was the goal. But after that, United just never looked like they were going to score. I don't think there was ever a point where they looked like they were going to score. And that's so many issues. I mean, and that brings me to a few players. Number one, it brings me to Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag today, I think for the first time since the opening 2 games, I was very disappointed with the team selections. Weghorst shouldn't be starting games at this point of the season. I don't know what he's thinking and why is he starting as a number 10. The whole reason, and I've said this at the Liverpool game as well, the whole reason you brought Weghorst in was because you wanted somebody to play as a striker when Martial is not available, because you don't want to play Rashford as a striker. If my Weghorst is not going to play as a striker and Rashford is not going to play as a winger, there's no point in playing Rashford because you then just there's no point in playing Weghorst because you're accommodating Bruno to play on the left wing, and just kills everything, doesn't it? Bruno wasn't good today, by the way. He was absolutely abysmal at times in the decision making, but you still are playing him on the left wing. It's just unbelievable the kind of selections that's happening. I don't know whether it was Ten Hag trying to prove a point. I don't know whether it was something that he picked up. Maybe he thought he could use Weghorst to run on a bit and then bring Martial on when West Ham start tiring, because they've got a big European game coming up, so they might try to conserve energy for that. I don't know what the thinking was, but it was completely muddled. And now the issue is, from what I've seen today, there's a lot of gaps in the squad. Number one, I think they need a new striker. And the question is about Marcus Rashford as well. Is Marcus Rashford really the left winger that United need? You know what? And I was thinking throughout this game, like, what if a club came in and said, we'll offer you 70 or 80 million pounds for Marcus Rashford? Would you sell it? I would do that deal. I would actually sell him for 70, 80 million pounds. I'd sell him because the fact is, he's never going to be a Ten Hag type player. He's never going to be a Ten Hag type winger. You can see that clearly. He's so selfish in passes. He's actually got a very good pass on him, but he's so selfish in play. He always tries to look for goal. He's always trying to go for goal and maybe part of it is because he's always felt that responsibility of being the main goal scorer. So he feels like he needs to take pot shots from everywhere. But even if you bring a new striker in, is Rashford going to be able to create for him? Probably not. I think he's just lost that creativity in him. So I don't think he can be that guy. I don't think he can be that guy who's going to be a creative type winger. He can't. So if somebody offered me 70, 80 million pounds for him, I would probably sell him, because then you can get somebody else who's probably a more creative winger that can suit Ten Hag's style. Maybe he won't get you 30 goals a season. That Rashford's not been getting. He's done that this season. He'll probably get 30, but he doesn't normally get that many. So you get in a creative winger and you get in a striker who actually is who the winger is actually going to feed to the striker. I would actually do that deal, by the way. So you got Rashford as a problem. You got Martial as a problem. You've got Casemiro as a problem technically, because there's nobody to replace him. Again, the issue for Casemiro, nobody to replace him. They need somebody who's going to come in. They need a right winger. Probably Ahmad will be the guy who's going to be the backup. Because Sancho isn't a right winger, and clearly, Ten Hag doesn't trust Pelistri to do the job. So you need that, and you need a couple of defenders as well. Again, we're missing Martinez and Varane as well. You can see the issues, and the problem with that is Shaw has to play as a centre back, which we lose Shaw at left back, and Shaw at left back is such a different player. Yes, Malacia can do a job, Dalot can do a job, but Shaw is Shaw. Again, they lose that as well. So they need a lot of positions, and which that leads me to the point to being that whatever happens this season, whether United make top 4, whether they don't make top 4, it doesn't matter. The fact is, next season they're going to be competing for 4th again, because there's so many holes in the squad that need to be filled. They're not going to be filled in one summer transfer window, and we know if the Glazers or Sir Jim is going to be in there, they're not going to fill it in one transfer window. They're not going to buy that many players in one. They're not going to buy in the winter. They will buy whatever they buy in the summer. So, and you're not going to get that many players in the summer with the budget that United have. So again, next season will be a fighting top 4, which is disappointing. And so then that leaves the question: do United really need top 4? Like, does it matter? Normally you get into the top 4, so then you can start building towards the title challenge. United are not going to challenge for the title. Whether they make top 4, they're not challenging for the title. It's going to be 4th again next season. So does it really matter? I love the Europa League, so I don't really care either way. But I know people want the Champions League. So right, so that's one issue. So again, next season I think will be top 4 dogfight, and that means that I think Erik ten Hag probably there's a good chance that Erik ten Hag will be sacked next season. He'll be sacked next season, because the fact is that he's going to have to be competing for top 4 again. If he doesn't make top 4 this season, the United are going to lose a lot of money on sponsor deals. I believe they lose a lot of money on sponsor deals if they don't make it for 2 seasons in a row. So they're going to lose sponsor money. And then Ten Hag will be under a lot of pressure. Imagine if he doesn't get the players that he wants. These players have shown that they can't do it now. So I think he might get sacked next season. He very well might. But anyway, that's part of it. I'm not saying that I want him to get sacked, and I'm saying that he will get sacked. What I'm saying is that it's a good chance that he might not last next season, just based on what I'm seeing right now. Like everything, based on what is happening. And this is not a reaction to today's result. It's a reaction to what's happened against Brighton. It's a reaction to what happened against Newcastle. It's a reaction to what's been happening since that Carabao Cup final. They've just lost it, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, there are holes in that squad that need addressing, and they're not going to be addressed in one transfer window, which is a sad part. But well done to West Ham. I think they survived. Now West Ham, I think should be safe. Now 37 points really should get you safety. I mean, in this particular league, it's so poor right now. The bottom of the table, I mean, nobody's very picky. I mean, it's not like Everton and Leicester picking up points, are they? So I think they're safe now. And I guess it's the remaining. I guess Leeds, Everton, Leicester. I think those and maybe Bournemouth might get sucked back into it, maybe. But otherwise, I think and Nottingham Forest, of course. So you got 4 teams. I think it's going to be between those 4 teams. Two teams will probably go from those 4. But yeah, I think West Ham should be safe now, 37 points, and good for them as well, because they've got a big European semi-final coming up. I really want them to win that one. So it's good that they can now rest players for next week and weekend. They don't need to necessarily go all out, so they can focus on that semi-final. Let's hope they make it to the final. Anyway, share your thoughts on the game. I mean, it's a lot to pack, and there's a lot to think about. It's games like these that, the 7-0s are 7-0s, they're one-offs, and you can kind of go, why did this happen? It's just a bad day at the office. It's games like these that worry me, because games like these are when you really see the character of the team, and you really see whether there's fight and the ability of the team. Because it's all well and good when you're winning 2-0 and then you make it 3-0, 4-0, just doing step overs or scoring goals, and you do this and that, and it's all great. But the fact is, when you're 1-0 down, can you actually prove that you can do it? I just think this team doesn't have those personalities, those characters that can fight. They're not building it, and I don't know. I honestly don't know whether it can, how it will come and how it will be built. But anyway, share your thoughts on the game. Of course, do smash like if you enjoyed this video. Smash like for West Ham. They did really well. They deserve the win. And well done. Like I said, Declan Rice was my man of the match. Of course, there's nobody else. You can't really categorize anyone else. But well done to West Ham. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, we always love hearing your comments. So please do share that. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.